Parents, if you've not heard of Charlotte Mason, this might be a good starting point. There's a book here. It's called For the Children's Sake. For the Children's Sake. Foundations of Education for Home and School. Foundations of Education for Home and School. And I'll read you a sentence from the book. Education is a life. That life is sustained on ideas. Ideas are of spiritual origin. And God has made us so that we can get them chiefly as we convey them to one another, whether by mouth, written page, scripture word, musical symphony, but we must sustain a child's inner life with ideas as we sustain his body with food. That's one of the quotes that is mentioned here in the book. There's a person called Charlotte Mason. And Charlotte Mason, people have made it out to be a kind of education from Charlotte Mason. And one of the things that is interesting is that I'm going back to the page here. This is page 82. So this was a quote. The quote I just read from you is from chapter 4 of her book. And it basically talks about this idea of education, towards a philosophy of education. What is the philosophy of education that your child is receiving? This is going to be a very important question in this day and age. There are different philosophies. There are philosophies that believe in God, and there are philosophies that don't believe in God. Your child might actually be at a school that doesn't believe in God, and they don't teach about the reality of who God is. The problem is that how your child will come to understand science and philosophy and reality will actually be affected because they're not looking at the lens of the fact that God made the world. I don't know if you see where the philosophy plays out. In terms of knowledge acquisition, there is actually no reason, let me repeat again, there is no reason to be in a school system that emphasizes only knowledge without tying that knowledge to the philosophical implications of that knowledge. Were we created or were we not? Does life have meaning or does it not? These are questions that we will have to wrestle with a lot in education going forward. The Seven Laws of Teaching by John Milton Gregory is a great resource that we'll be tapping into as well. C.S. Lewis, The Abolition of Man. These books are going to be so important in this day and age. We just did a webinar on AI, the good, the bad, and the ugly, with an AI researcher or AI scientist and electrical and computer engineer, a friend of mine, Dr. Paul Meyer. And it's just interesting. There was a lot that was covered, and we'll get the recording out here soon. It was also live streamed on Facebook. So if you follow me on Facebook, you see it on my Facebook page. But I feel like educators are not paying close attention to the reality that the paradigm that they might have been used to is actually crumbling, and they need to give a new paradigm to the kids. And I would say Charlotte Mason is one of the best options to consider at such a time as this. It's been a great option, period. But the more I study my own education philosophy, the more I realize I align very well with Charlotte Mason. Now, I might have some differences and tweaks. For example, I'll give you an example of my education philosophy. I don't believe in grade levels at all. I don't believe in them. And the reason I don't believe in them is not simply because of AI. It's because they were built at a time that is no longer now. I believe in learn and keep learning and keep growing and keep flourishing and keep challenging yourself and keep growing. And I don't believe in school year calendars either. I know I'm strange. I don't know why we have to keep practices that just don't make sense anymore. Kids are not out on the farm. Can I just put my heart cry? Too many kids are playing video games for hours on end in the summer. So we need to find a way to have a new model that keeps them engaged regularly. Now, let me take a step back. I have friends who run schools. I have friends who are teachers, and I completely understand that it makes more sense. Like grade levels can help with certain organizational pieces. But what I'm saying is we need to maybe rethink this and have mastery-based pods. I mean, if I do an assessment and I find out that you don't know how to add fractions, it doesn't matter that you're 12 or 13 or 14. You need to go learn how to add fractions. Why am I putting you in algebra because you're 13? Your age is not what determines what you should learn. Your ability and mastery should determine what you should learn. That's what I'm getting at. We need mastery-based education for human flourishing. And by God's grace, that's the new accreditation model I'm building with a few people. We are basically saying accreditation in the AI revolution doesn't work on the same basis it did before. Because now children can learn and keep growing and keep moving. So we need a new model, and I call it mastery-based education for human flourishing. We need many people to come up with other models. I'm just giving one. My point is, age and grade-based learning as a basis for determination for advancement, I don't think works anymore. Instead, what if we trained teachers? The first step is the teachers. The teachers need to be in the field of teaching because they love the children, not because of some other reasons. And please don't take this the wrong way. I'm not trying to be harsh, but I'm just saying sometimes people go into professions for different reasons that might not be ideal. You guys know what I mean. Like, for example, somebody might go into teaching because of the summers off, which is not a bad thing, but I'm just saying it shouldn't be the primary reason. The primary reason is these children are made in the image of God. They've been made for a purpose. How can I inspire them to be who God made them to be? Yes, I'm going to teach them some history or English or math, which we could talk about the problem of the fragmentation of subjects. Like English and history are fragmented. Why can't we read the history of World War II along the same time? At the same time, we read the historical books that came out during World War II and write papers about that time period. Like, why can't we integrate history and English again, right? Math and physics. Math and physics were like best friends. They still are, for the most part, but the relationship has changed. Newton was the same guy that did the physics and the math. Euler was the same guy that did the physics and the math. They need to be taught together. So, what is my education philosophy? I'm very close to the Charlotte Mason model. But I also want to emphasize that children are made in the image of God, and we need to be emphasizing that part of their lives, helping them know the one who made them. Thanks for watching. You can check out the long interview with Dr. Paul Meyer in the description section, or where, as I said, Facebook, or email me at amosthemathguy@gmail.com, amosthemathguy@gmail.com, and I'll send it over to you. But I'm going to dissect this book over the next few weeks, so stay tuned for more videos about Charlotte Mason, and have a blessed day. You can feel free to subscribe for more too.